Hey you guys, welcome back to episode 2 of Leesburg Teens Online. We find ourselves in kind of a strange situation right now, and because of that, we've kind of adapted the way that we're doing things. So if you're interested to know a little bit more about what the plan is moving forward, and also if you haven't seen episode 1, maybe check that out first, and then come back and join us here. You can find us basically on 3 platforms. You can find us on YouTube by searching Leesburg Christian, and you'll see a playlist that says Teens. The other avenue that you can find us at is Facebook. You can find us by searching a page called Leesburg Teens KY, and I'll try to link those at the bottom of this video if you are watching on YouTube. You can also find us on Instagram by searching the same way, Leesburg Teens KY. That one's all one word, and so you should be able to find us. Also, check us out on our webpage at leesburg.cc. If you click on the Family Ministry tab at the top, you can scroll all the way down, and these videos, as they come out, will be available on that page also. So we're just really trying to make it easy for you to get connected, to stay connected, to keep in touch while we're kind of facing this strange time. At the same time, like I said in our last episode, I am excited about the possibility of getting to connect with you more regularly. With all the weekend things that we prepare for, a lot of times that doesn't leave much opportunity to connect with you throughout the week in this way. So in a sense, we're a little bit disconnected. We might feel a little disconnected, but in another way, we get to see each other on a very much more frequent basis. So I'm kind of excited about that, and hope that you're doing well. So with Leesburg Teens, we have been exploring the concept of doubt. This week we are focusing in on the story of a man named Job in the Bible, and the story of his life, what it teaches us. It is one of the books in the Bible known as wisdom literature, and it helps us to know what wisdom is, what our response should be in light of a big and awesome and all-powerful God. And his story really ties into the things that we're going through right here and right now in this very day and age. So it's kind of neat that we're able to connect with that story and to find ways to see how we can respond in light of the story of Job. Today's question is basically this: does God always reward good, and does he always punish evil? Maybe to make that more personal for us, in the middle of what we find ourselves in, is God punishing us for something that we have done? That's a really important question, and I think that people have a misconception of the answer to that question, which is why it's really important, I think, in this time to go ahead and to talk this out, to just be real with each other, and to be able to connect and ask questions and answer questions. And hopefully this video and the ones to come will give a little bit more clarity in terms of the answer to that question. Is God punishing us for some reason? So if you're familiar now with the story of Job, you know that Job was a righteous man. It doesn't say that he was sinless, it doesn't say that he was perfect, but it does say that Job was a righteous man. He was a person that was connected to God. In the first couple of chapters of Job, we see the character of who he was. He was a person that loved his family, that loved and respected and served God, that his conscience was sensitive to wanting to be able to be close to the God who created him. And so it actually tells us in the first couple of chapters there that if there was ever a person on this earth at that point in time who deserved good, if God always rewards good behavior with blessings from him, if there was ever a person that deserved that, it was Job. We don't just see that from the on-earth depiction of Job in the first few chapters. It's like the camera screen goes from the first couple of verses of an earthly version of Job's life, an account of Job's life, and it pans up into the heavens where God himself says, hey, have you considered my servant Job? There's no one righteous like him in all the earth. So if God actually does always reward us for good, Job was the one on earth at that point in time who would have deserved it most. Not because he was perfect, but because he was righteous before God. Also, as you know, that's not exactly what happened. You see, up when we're panning up into the heavenly account of the story of Job, we see God and his angels before him, and someone who is referred to as the Satan, the adversary, comes before God, and he says, yeah, that's nice that he serves you and that he loves you, but why wouldn't he, right? He's only doing that because he expects something from you. His life is good. He's got all kinds of wealth. He has a family that he loves and gets to spend time with. He has a family who has a lot of money. Why would you not serve God when you're just trying to protect that? That's the only thing that is keeping him from turning his back on you. So really, that's not all that impressive. So God in his wisdom says this, okay, Satan, you may affect the things around Job's life, but you cannot touch the man himself. And that's important for future parts of this story. But yeah, so that's God's deal with Satan, is that you may affect the things around Job's life, but you cannot affect the man himself. And so then what we find is Job having a terrible... we've thought that we've had bad days before. I don't know of a worse day than what Job could have had, right? So his livestock get carried away, and all of his servants who take care of his livestock get killed. There's only one person to come back and report, and as this one lone survivor is reporting what happened to Job, the next person comes in and says, hey, some more of your animals have been destroyed from fire from heaven, which is a poetic way, we believe, of saying lightning struck and killed all of them, and I'm the only one that has survived. And then while he's still telling that story, another guy comes in and he says, hey, so all of your kids were together in one house celebrating, and four winds came and knocked over the house upon them, and they were crushed, and not any of them survived. I'm the only one here left to tell you about what happened. Now, Job's response to this terrible news is incredibly important, and it really gives us the application for us today. Instead of cursing God, instead of doubting God in this moment, he basically said, hey, I came into this world with nothing, and I will leave it with nothing. And so to put it into my own terms, it's like he's saying, I came in with nothing, I will leave with nothing. Everything that God has given me is a bonus. It is a gift. And so because of that, I will praise God even when things get tough. So here's how all of that applies to us today. We can learn from this early point in Job this. To the question, is God punishing us for something? Like, all of these terrible things are happening, and maybe even beyond what we're facing with the coronavirus pandemic. Maybe it's family issues, maybe it's loneliness, maybe it's anxiety, maybe it's depression, maybe it's all these things that we face, maybe it's physical loss, your parents are getting ready to lose money, their jobs. I want to reassure you, with this example from the story of Job, this is not your fault. God is not punishing you for something wrong that you have done by allowing all of this tough stuff, terrible stuff to happen to you. Sometimes bad things happen to righteous people. None of us are perfect. None of us are even good, when the standard of good is Jesus, right? But sometimes bad things happen to righteous people. And we know that from the story of Job. We heard it not only from the earthly account of his life, but when it pans up into heaven, even God acknowledges, this man is righteous before me. This wasn't a punishment that he sent upon him. This wasn't an indictment upon his sins or his sinfulness. This was just God in his wisdom allowed something bad to happen, and we're going to see some of the good that came out of it, and how else to respond in future videos. But for now, I want you to remember this. Trouble in life does not mean that it is a direct punishment from God. And when it comes to how you can apply that in your life, in your relationship with God, here's what I want to tell you. In the middle of trouble, we should learn to have the response of Job, where when bad things happen, we look and we say, everything that we have, everything that we are, is a gift from God. And so may his name be praised in the middle of bad times and in the middle of good times as well. It's easy to forget God. It's easy to doubt God in good times and in really bad times. But in the middle of all of it, when stuff is hard, when you're feeling lonely, when your family is struggling, know that you can trust God in the good times and the bad. That's the example from the first couple of chapters of Job that I hope to share with you guys today. Tomorrow we're going to be focusing on something a little bit different. We're going to look at Job's friends and the people that came to try and comfort Job, to give him hope and strength, and in doing so, they made things way worse. And I want us to learn from that example as well. So make sure to tune in for that. Look forward to sharing that part with you. Before I go, I do want to just reach out and say, hey, if you are in our community, if you're somebody that I know personally and you are struggling, if you need help, whether it be financial, physical, emotional, just somebody to listen, somebody to talk to, whatever it is that you and your family and your neighbors need, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can reach out to us via email at leesburgchristianchurch@gmail.com. If you already have my contact information, feel free to reach out, and it won't be something that we post out there and give ourselves a pat on the back or anything like that. We legitimately care about the people around us. We feel like this is an opportunity to be the hands and feet and phone calls and grocery deliveries and whatever else that we can be for Jesus. So I hope that you're doing well today. Thanks again for tuning in, and we will see you next time.